women were ignorant of these things, and they found this movie, and they're like, oh my God, The Sunken Place. And I'm like, well, maybe you should have been mixed a while ago. You would have known this shit ain't special. Anyways, but I was watching that because
I didn't watch that.
So we're going to do that sample where he's like, you ever watch UFC?
Oh, I seen that junk. That was funny.
Mixed martial arts, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you really train, you have the body for it.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there the whole time like, why is Banshee chilling up that far up north? Shouldn't he be back over at the X-Men mansion? Yeah. But no. Happy holidays. Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah.
Yes.
All of these things. Nothing gives the gift of giving like a good old UFC card.
Seasoned beatings.
Seasoned beatings. I like that. Cage Cousins, we're bringing the snow. You can put ice on your black and blue. For those who don't know, we are Cage Against the Machine. I am SweetMBA. I am joined here by
D Infamous Boogie, a.k.a. Danielle Cartier.
And it wouldn't be a podcast without
I am J.K. Akins.
And our goal is to talk to you and each other about our favorite sport, which combines multiple martial arts, social consciousness, and a good old butt whooping known as mixed martial arts with the Premier League of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. About to celebrate its year. We are about to talk about UFC 219. Headlined as Holm versus...
The Preacher's Daughter.
The Preacher's Daughter.
Yeah.
That's the sound of the preacher, man. Versus...
Cristiano Justino.
Cyborg for the women's featherweight championship. This will be the second time this belt has been defended.
Yes.
This is exciting. So we're going to make our picks and show you what to look for. And how to judge a fight. In addition, for those of you who are listening to our podcast because you either practice martial arts or you're getting into martial arts for health reasons, we're going to show you how to look at some of these techniques and their practical applications. So our first fight starting off will be Marvin, the Italian Dream Vettori, versus Omari, the Wolverine Akhmedov.
Very good, Mr. Sweet.
I've been practicing.
Very good.
Because I don't want to be a stupid American. I don't. There's plenty of them doing that for me. And
You stupid Americans.
Why do you hate Michael Jackson? The question of the day for me is the Wolverine from Dagestan?
He is.
Well,
look at that.
Does anyone need to know what I'm voting
I
for?
was shocking. Who's that?
Does anyone need to know what my pick is? Because I'm willing to bet there's a bunch of Dagestanis on this card. Dagestan by the way of San Jose.
I think you got one or two.
Quite possibly.
Or three.
Quite possibly. Maybe
two.
Which actually,
Three.
Dagestan does not look that different from
AKA / Eagle MMA.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suspect, given what I've seen, Marvin is no joke, though.
No, he is not.
He's not a joke. But he is going to get choked out in the second round.
Huh.
By
Look at
rear
that.
naked.
Wow, look at that. I like this.
Okay.
That's a decisive.
How are you two
choice.
feeling about this? Russia versus Italy. You know?
Oh, so you mean World War II. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Do you feel like this is a pick 'em fight?
Which is ironic because in World War I, it's the opposite. But we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Is it a pick 'em fight? I don't.
You don't feel like it's a pick 'em fight?
It absolutely is.
I feel
with
like it's a
Dagestan.
pick 'em fight.
It absolutely is.
Yes.
Okay.
So saying that, who are you leaning towards?
Is there something going on here? I am going to take Marvin Vettori only because I believe he is the more well-rounded fighter of the two. The issue with Akhmedov is, for me, is that if he doesn't get a finish in the first round, he generally can't finish the fight.
Right.
So, and Vettori, this is going to depend on whether or not this fight goes to the ground. But I think this fight is, for the most part, is going to be a stalemate. So I'm going to take Vettori in a very close decision.
So he acts like we're so different, but we aren't.
Okay.
We agree on a lot of things.
Yes.
And that's why I had him go first.
Okay.
Because for once I get to say, oh my God, we agree. So I too am going to pick, I'm going to call him the Italian Stallion because boy, but I'm going to pick the Italian Dream because that probably is a more accurate description of him. So I'm going to pick the Italian Dream, and I agree with you. I do think that it will probably be a split decision, but I think he'll get it done. I'm picking youth over beauty. How about that? Or beauty over age.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah. Oh, why lie?
Because pretty fighters tend not to last.
Why you got to be like that?
I'm just letting you know.
That's
the
true.
pretty guys tend to
I
get
thought
smoked.
Eric Silva was beautiful, and he
And look what happened to
can't
him.
And look what
win a
happened.
fight.
And look what happened to him.
Right.
Yes, I know.
Hell, looks what's been happening to Anthony Pettis.
Right. Joe Bond ain't fought in like a year.
Yes.
Right.
See, problem is,
Theodoro.
I keep thinking that there's a lot of beautiful fighters.
There's a lot of fighters that the women I know report are beautiful.
Yeah.
Because I know
They
sometimes,
get beat up.
people be saying I have questionable taste.
And to be fair, if the reverse is true,
See,
there's only a few like
I knew you was
female
gonna start
attractive
laughing.
fighters to
I knew you
me.
was gonna start
I just
laughing.
thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, what shit? Damn,
Yeah,
for
because
real?
you be saying stuff, so
Yes, you do.
whatever.
So you got
Whatever.
my pick. I'm just letting you know. I think Vettori is too pretty.
Wait, why?
Look at Pearl.
Wait, hold
Pearl-
on, time out.
Pearl
Why would
beautied
I?
her way out of the UFC.
I have never said that you have questionable taste because I can't make that judgment, nor would I.
Yeah, but you be saying stuff when I be saying, oh, he's cute. You like,
I'm just saying that when I say that, what I mean is I don't know what the hell that got to do with the fight.
oh, but come on. I'm still a woman. I still can recognize the beautiful.
I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying that don't have nothing to do with the fight.
I am mad at you.
I mean, because hell, Pearl Gonzalez is fine as hell. You see, it have nothing to do with the damn
Okay,
fight.
Now, right now, I had to segue because did you watch the women's fight? I believe it. We talked about it. It was what's her name? Who probably is no longer in the UFC. Everybody hates her. She got in a fight with Cyborg. She got punched.
Magana?
Yeah, Angela Magny. Did you see that fight?
I did.
You did see that. And did you see the full boob? I said she's turned a lot of boys into men.
I cannot,
today.
in today's political... Look, I saw that. That was
Full
hilarious.
Gigantic, like full
But-
boob.
And given
Entire
her
boob.
troll nature, like, was that an accident? No. So I looked away like, I'm so tired of you. That's the
I
best
was
you can
really
do.
surprised.
But
Wasn't
then-
it on Fox?
Yeah, but I'm
And
not
it was
it's
full
her.
like boob.
It's the best she can do. Like
I was
she'll be
like,
on
boob.
she'll be on Snapchat in a week. I mean,
Like I said, she didn't
Swipe
belong.
up.
She didn't belong in the damn UFC in the first damn place.
But I'm going to
She's
say this
a
for the
troll.
ladies. Ladies, how many men are there in the UFC? And the one wardrobe malfunction happens to the ladies. I'm like, how many times have I almost seen men butts? No. The one wardrobe malfunction
Right.
is a full boob.
right.
What is that?
Wear a rash guard.
Terrible.
What was the name of the woman she fought?
Amanda Cooper.
I agree
That's
with
right.
Amanda Cooper's.
ABC.
I agree with Amanda Cooper's comments. She was like, "Yeah, love her or hate her, she certainly comes to fight, and she could take some punishment. So I'll give her that."
And the sport can do without her. Shame on you,
Yeah,
ABC.
hey, Invicta will be great with you. Moving on to our next fight, we have Lewis, the Last Samurai. Can't just be the Last Samurai, right? Because the Last Samurai is Tom Cruise. The Last Samurai, Smoker,
He's better than that. He's
against Matthias Nicolau. For the winner of who will eventually be rejected from the flyweight division.
This is terrible. Shame.
When was the last time I saw Smoker fight? I think he fought.
Doesn't matter because
Borg.
he's lost his last 3.
Right, he's on his way out, right? Borg
And
couldn't
not only
manage them?
that, but been getting submitted.
Yeah.
Been tapping.
But I
and
will
he's
say
fighting a
for
Brazilian?
Louis Smoke Club been
I
having
quit.
close
Around
fights
the neck?
though.
Huh?
He's been having close fights.
Neck, leg, arm,
yeah.
however you want to do
Terrible.
it. Either way, it's a tap.
So is it round 2 or 1 for Nikolai? Because clearly Smoke is going to get smoked.
He'll get submitted again. He'll get submitted again.
Poor guy.
I think Nicolau will get him in the second round.
And he just will get cut before he gets to be on that UFC Hawaii card.
And the sad part is that when Smoker came into the UFC, he was the guy, and a lot of people felt that he would be the guy who would eventually challenge for the 125 title.
Right. Well, I remember when he went against Ray Borg, he was supposed to be that guy to beat Ray Borg.
And Ray Borg put them.
Oh man, we were at the bar. I remember that. I remember it felt like Borg would slam him from one TV into the other TV.
Exactly.
And he'd just go back from the screen. You would look at both of the TVs at the bar, and he'd just be like moving back and forth. Like that's he got beat up. He
got manhandled.
So picks?
Mollywopped. My pick is Matheus Nicolau in the first round by a choke.
JK, you too?
Submission.
So I'm gonna beg to differ because I'm gonna say Louis Smokler has had a lot of close fights. They've been competitive.
They've been
until he's gotten caught up in the choke. He's having a little issue with his submission game, and I'm gonna say big up to him because he remembered me from like 4 years ago at the Fan Expo.
Okay.
So what's going on?
Okay.
But anyway,
She's trying to get a bag of
I'm
hot
not
Cheetos.
saying that. I'm saying that
She's trying to get the Reeboks Cheetos.
I
or
think
some
that
cookies.
this is a perfect fight for him because I think that he's going to be competitive in this matchup, and I honestly think he's going to get it done. So I'm going to say Smokler by decision.
Danielle,
Holla at your girl.
you need to get a new pair of glasses because you're seeing through rose colored right now.
We gonna see what happens
Because he's been getting his behind tapped.
He's number 13.
These fights have not been close.
Louis Smokler, you number 13 in the world, dog. You can get it done.
Speaking of Rose, you guys should both watch Stranger Things.
Is Rose Namajunas on there?
Yeah, she's the star.
Are you joking?
No.
Are you lying? Come
No.
on. Be serious. I will go home and watch it, but like, don't play games for real.
No, Rose is the star.
All right, I'm gonna go YouTube it and I'm gonna put her name in. If it don't come up on there,
Okay.
I'm not gonna waste no 15 minutes of my life waiting for Rose to show up on the screen.
Her WME contract, she's got to go under a different name. Just letting you know. Moving on to the next fight. We have Miles Fury Jury versus Rick the Gladiator Glenn.
Now, when you talk about somebody who had a lot of promise, Miles
Jury?
Jury was,
Yeah.
he was the guy.
Yeah.
he got
He had
derailed
all
by
the
injury.
momentum.
Who was it?
He got derailed by injury.
Yeah, and who else? But
Jury.
somebody else.
Except he got
shut him
derailed
down.
by a person, too.
Like Cowboy, right?
Yes.
Yes, Cowboy.
He shut him down.
Cowboy hit him with that combo, right?
It was bad. It was
the one-
ugly.
he was the one who he hit him with the. Him and McDonald were the ones who caught the Goku combos, right?
That's right.
Yeah. He was also fighting overweight at that point.
Yeah.
He is not built for the 155 or the 170
No.
weight class. And
Punching above your weight class.
He too little.
Yeah, he's too small.
He had some success, though, so he was like, I'm that dude.
Yeah, he was having his success
met the
at
reality.
He was having his success at 145.
And I don't want to go too far down the tangent, but I will say this. It's still too much of a bloody jump to go from 155 to 170. I understand that they don't want a division of 5 every time, but that's a huge jump.
But I mean, if that's the case, every weight class is a huge jump.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between 185 and 170, and then even bigger between 185 and 205.
That's even bigger. It's a big jump.
So I mean, it depends on the fighter. Every fighter is different.
Agreed.
I think
Because for me, there's no way that I would be able to fight at 185.
What would you fight at?
205.
Interesting.
But I think that's why the California Athletic Commission is, doing the changes that they have. Like, they added a bunch of different weight classes between because, just like you said, they felt like it was a huge jump. And I think to a lot of fighters, it's a huge jump.
I think
so. They've added a lot of in-between weight classes.
True, but California's only California. We
Yeah.
gotta hope for the other ones. I do want to see that cruiserweight belt.
Yeah.
But also, I think, unfortunately, we have this thing called age, so it makes
That
it
is
hard.
also true.
But if we were younger, right? If we were 18, then we could actually, you could actually consider a optimal weight. Like, I would probably go for featherweight.
Yeah, I would have to fight at 205. I'm just a big man naturally. Daniel Cormier and I are literally the same size.
So you really, even if you were 18.
But if Daniel would
even if you're
stop
young,
eating all
no
that
injuries, you would still go for
cake, he
205.
could probably go lower.
Probably, yes.
Really?
Probably.
How tall are you?
I've always been a big guy.
But how tall?
5'10". But I've always been a big guy.
Think about.
Are we
going to
go with the big bone theory?
No. I just
about
have
those.
205 with the range you're dealing with. You're dealing with these 6'3"
And that's
monsters.
the problem.
true.
People too big.
I mean, reach wise, I would actually be okay because my reach is actually 75 inches.
Got it.
Even at my 5'10" frame.
And I,
But to your point, like I said, I mean, for me, there is no way that I could get down to 185.
yeah, see, for me, I believe in fair fights, but I don't necessarily believe I have to be in them. Okay?
Right.
And so I don't like bullies, but for me, if I was going to be competitive, I need at least.
You'd rather be the bully.
I'd rather
I
be.
hear
But
you.
there was a time like when I would go to like clubs that were full of like a lot of Asian people because I liked being tall.
oh, I don't think we should go there.
And so,
This is going to a very
because
bleak
I am a
place.
short person. So
Right,
for me,
right.
145, that still gives me that ability to look down at somebody in the weigh-in and be like, I'll crush you, right? Now,
Right.
you would. Damn,
Look
that's
at
a
Jessica
brand.
That's
Andrade.
like I said,
There's
like
a
I
lot
said.
of short people who are very successful.
Yeah,
There's a lot of short people who are not successful too.
that is true. That is
Like
true.
Miles Jury, and Rick Glenn.
Yeah.
Who will it be? I'm not liking those ribs right there, Rick Glenn. They say I want to get broken. I think this could be the return of Jury, but it'll be by decision, in my opinion. Or a TKO because of too many kicks to Rick Glenn's fragile
Fragile
torso.
body.
Fragile AMC presents Breaking Bad ribs.
He's the gladiator.
Wow.
He looked like he looks like the gladiator went on hunger strike. Like, what is that? Blood and sand?
He's
What-
like, I'm at weight now. So, JK, what's your opinion? I'm excited.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be because Rick Glenn doesn't even belong in the UFC. So it at this point it doesn't even matter. This fight is going to be quick and it's going to be painless.
So, my question is, what is going on? Like, this to me is Strikeforce matchmaking. I apologize, Strikeforce. I enjoyed many a card, but I feel like this matchup was put together to showcase Miles Jury and to be his comeback fight.
There's no question about that.
There's obvious
Or to
issues
clean out the
still that's
contract.
happening in matchmaking that needs to be addressed because you can't keep giving people these gimme fights. This is a little bit sad. This is an obvious mismatch, and I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Or it's to finish out a contract,
Either way, it's
like the greatest
sad.
hits album.
Yeah. And especially on the year-end card, we expect more UFC. Come on.
But I guess we were saying this before when we were starting that this is not the longest card we've seen in a while. And also, you got to wonder the pacing after such phenomenal cards of 217 and 218. You wonder, if they're trying not to exhaust us so much. So
The UFC gave us a lot.
They gave us a lot.
They gave us a lot.
I got to say, I was skeptical at first with the sale. Then you had the boxing madness.
Oh.
But 217 and 218 were so incredible.
Phenomenal.
But you know why?
So good.
Phenomenal.
You know why? Because business-wise, they're like, you know what? All of our critics are right. All of our critics are right. We are losing ground as far as credibility. And if we don't rein it in, we are going to lose market share.
Right.
So let's be honest.
I mean, they can't
This
really
will
lose
be the
market share
last of
because
this-
there's no
the
true
bizarre
competition.
cards, but that's questionable.
To me, this
That's
is just
questionable.
There's no true competition for the UFC.
That's questionable.
Who's the competition?
Don't ever think that you can't fall off. Toys R Us is about to go bankrupt. Never think that just because you're at the king at one
I'm talking
point
about at
doesn't
this
mean that you
point.
will remain the king.
I mean, at this point,
Wait, hold on,
who
hold on,
is
hold
the
on.
legit?
I don't want to grow up.
Neither do I.
I'm a Toys
That
R Us.
broke my heart. I was like, Toys R Us cannot leave.
But keep it real. Toys R Us may be one of the more ghetto places I've ever been.
But you know what
And
I'm
the
saying.
reason
you
why,
go.
and it's
Anywhere
different,
you go, it
right?
could be in
But you know
Beverly
what I'm
Hills and you're
saying.
in there.
Right,
you're like,
right.
this
You know
is
what I'm saying?
wrong.
If this was like the mid-'80s, you would
Yeah.
be like, there's no way Toys R Us would ever fall off.
But
Toys R
it's-
Us is the king of toys.
Right,
And the
but-
UFC is the king. But eventually, if the king keeps getting ghetto and keeps doing stuff that's questionable and don't clean the store and all this stuff, you start losing credibility. KB Toys starts coming up. Walmart starts existing and selling toys at cheaper prices. So there's no such thing as you don't respect your competitors. And trust me, Strikeforce got close, and that's why they had to get eaten. So there's no such thing as
Right, but
the UFC not having a successor.
But my question to you is, and the question that you've dodged, is who is the competition?
The competition is Bellator.
Oh, you gotta be shit. Oh, okay.
But I mean, if you look
Sure.
at Bellator and the number of finishes and the spectacular fights that they've been putting on nearly on a weekly basis,
That's because the fighters are trash.
but it doesn't matter. You forget
It
most
does
people
matter.
most people are casual fans and they want to see people get knocked out. They want spectacular finishes, and Bellator delivers.
At the risk of sounding
Consistently.
like Dana White, it also helps to have Viacom.
I mean, seriously.
Because when you have the same parent company as MTV, you should be putting on a fight a week.
And then
And that's why
let's be-
Chael Sonnen is fighting for a heavyweight championship.
So it's
right?
basically
There is some questionable fights.
celebrity deathmatch.
I don't deny
Who is your pick, though? That's what I want to know.
Who is my pick? Clearly, this is Miles Jury comeback fight.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on, we have Don the Hangman Hooker versus
Say it.
Mark Dukoski.
now the Bone Crusher.
Hey, I love
Is there
that.
an underachiever comment here?
He ain't never scared.
You know why he's not scared? He is the second.
That's right.
He is the second. That's
You ain't
why
got to worry about that.
he is the second. And what we're referring to is the second openly queer MMA fighter
What?
in all of MMA.
Is this true?
Yeah.
The Bone Crusher came out?
Yeah, first was Dan Hardy. Yeah, just sit with that. You didn't know that. I know.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
here to help you
I'm
find
like,
all
is
the
this-
marginal folks. I know.
Is this true?
See, and
Or you
what?
just saying stuff?
And
No.
let's let
Dan
let-
Hardy's married. You
Married to. Right. Because they're a little different over in England. Anyways, moving on.
Oh, and then can I just
Really?
take a moment to put this also in context, right?
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, you really need to understand the significance of an African coming out.
Yeah.
That is
where is this printed?
that is a really
I still
big deal.
want to know where this exists.
Look, you have something on your phone called Google. You can use it.
Perhaps I shall Google this because this is the first time I've heard about this.
Or maybe we should make the listeners and the Cage Cousins Google it. You know?
Please.
They can look it up. They'll be
because
better.
I'm surprised about this.
And to be clear, Dukoski comes from a country known as the Congo, or the People's Democratic.
No, he is
Republic.
from the Congo on the West
Oh,
Coast.
the other one.
Yes.
The other Congo.
Yes.
Other Congo.
Yes.
You know, for
Get it
us,
right, bro.
For us Americans, it would help if you guys had different names.
Wow.
Well, there is
this
one
the West
country.
Congo?
There is one country called the Congo,
Right.
and there is one country called the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Because why would that be
I've heard
confusing?
about that place.
Why would that be confusing?
Well,
With
I
thought it
separate
was one and the
educations?
same.
The Democratic Republic of Congo was formerly known as Zaire.
Right.
I see. So
But
this
again,
is
it's kind of
Okay, I
like rap.
see.
It's kind of like rap. Like if you know his name is Rakim, maybe your name shouldn't be.
but maybe you spell it different. How about that?
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If
Because
his
they
name,
have the Democratic part.
because if his name is Dr. Dre, maybe you shouldn't be like Professor Dre. You know what I mean? Maybe you should just leave that planet and go over to your own planet.
Well, both
Why
of
don't
those
they just call it
countries.
Zaire again?
Well, the name Zaire was under a dictatorship.
Right.
I see. So it's bad business.
Yes, and the Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo, they have the same origin. They
Because Lord knows how
I
we
see.
don't like
I see.
dictatorships here in America.
So that's kind of like their nod to this is where
Right.
I
It
get
was about a changing of the guard.
Right.
They also changed the colors of the flag.
Okay.
Zaire used to be, obviously with some other African countries, red, green, yellow, black, and they
and theirs
changed
is
it.
red, black, yellow.
No, they're the Democratic Republic of Congo. Their colors are now sky blue, red, and yellow.
Okay, and so his is
Red, black.
and yellow, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen with him. That's why I asked. Okay,
Red,
black and yellow.
black, and yellow.
Really? See,
I'm so done with myself. All right.
you made that connection.
But on the flip side, then he's fighting against the kickboxing extraordinaire,
Dan the Hangman Hooker.
New Zealand's own, trains at downtown city kickboxing in Oakland off Queen Street.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a hard one to call, but I think I have to go with my countrymen and support the All Black. Although I wasn't referring to DeKaze, even though he is All Black.
I knew you was talking about.
I know. But I don't know how he'll win, so I think he'll go by decision.
He'll win by miracle. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
because they're both equally very good strikers.
Dan Hooker does not belong in the UFC.
There
He's
we
been
go.
he's been up and down. He's been up and down his entire UFC career. This will not even be close.
Dude.
Koski will crush him.
JK needs to like clean out the roster.
Yeah, you doggone
He
right.
gonna be like,
I'm sorry, Mama.
he's like, Dan Hooker, I need you in my office, fired. Angela Magny, I need my office, fired. ABC, fired. You should have never even been signed until you're fired.
Yes. Yes.
Dang.
Yes.
This
The
dude.
Las Vegas, the state of Nevada's unemployment office, that line would be very long.
He's like, Felice Harrington. I'm like, hey, bro, no. Thou shalt not pass. Felice stays in the UFC, bro.
Y'all over here just like fire swipe right.
Yeah. They already know. They already know if they wake up in their email, it's from him. They're like, I'm fired.
Yep.
Dude, I'm out of a job.
Yep.
They're on Twitter.
Yep. See you in Bellator.
I need a fight, bro.
If that.
In Dan Hooker's
that.
in Dan Hooker's case, probably one FC.
So I think,
World Series.
oh, dude. He's probably going in heavyweight, like ridiculous junk happens over there.
But you never know, though. At the same time, you never know. He might turn it back up. I mean, I'll give credit. I mean, that area does not have a lot of notable fight. You know, it's really everybody had to sort of hang out in Australia and try to figure it out, and they are
Right.
having a revolution.
Right.
I want to still give my pick, though.
Okay, what's your pick?
I'm saying that the Bone Crusher is going to send the Hangman to Bellator. How about that?
I don't think Bellator wants him. But
Dang,
I also think
really?
he tripped. Yeah, no, because Bellator only wants people who has a following. He doesn't have a following.
The Hangman about to be on the next
or
podcast.
a following at the end.
He gonna be right over there in the middle.
Yeah.
We like the former UFC fighter,
We'll see.
Dan the Hangman Hooker.
We'll see.
You always have a job here, bro.
Moving on to our next fight. Somebody near and dear to my heart. Mr. Cleo Roundtree Jr. versus Michael Lord. How does one...
This is one of those common Polish names that I actually cannot pronounce, believe it or not.
Ublik.
Oh, I think Chuck is at the end.
Obelisk.
We'll just call him
Your mama name you Clay?
the Lord. Lord Michael.
Lord Michael.
I don't even know if it's Michael. It might be Michael.
He looks a little problematic, by the way, in that picture.
He looks sexy. He lost weight. You could tell. He probably used to be like 300.
He looks like he eats his boogers.
He downsized.
I wouldn't.
Oh,
He looks like he
that's
his
terrible.
boogers.
But
What does
he-
one look like? Who?
That's nasty. It looks like the Lord.
That dude, he's like in the back like...
Wow.
There's a YouTube video of him.
Wow.
but it's
Wow.
it doesn't matter. He's going to end up knocked out in the first round.
Dang.
So,
No respect.
bye, Khalil.
That's funny because I agree.
Dude, I love Khalil.
Because Khalil, not only do we love him, but Khalil figured it out last fight. He realized this
He
is
did
a
really
business.
good.
Yeah, no, this is a business. This is not a sparring match. Like you can't just hold back. Like this is a bit. Other people are not going in there to not hurt you. You have to knock people out.
Right.
You have to punch them when their head's against the cage.
Well-
That's the sport.
My
And the-
issue
and
with
the crazy
Khalil is
thing-
he's a nice guy.
He is
Yeah.
a nice guy.
And sometimes when you deal with a nice guy, they don't have natural killer instinct.
well, you know his whole.
And I think this is going to be probably Khalil's issue with his fight career because he's going against his own grain.
right.
He doesn't have the
Well,
guts to
his
break
own-
your arm.
No, his own old grain. Because you
Well-
know his whole story was he came in like he used to be very overweight.
I get it. He used to be the chubby kid picked on, blah, blah, blah. Got
Not
the
e-
sexy
don't
body.
even, I don't even know if it was he was
Found
he
out
was
he could
picked
knock
on.
people out and he was excited.
He just started taking like Muay Thai classes because he didn't want to be sick anymore, and he got good at it. And then he used to train with Anderson.
Right.
And then his whole thing was like I don't want to hurt people, but he learned like it's not going to work. Tough taught him that in other fights. So
But that's the key. Like,
Yeah.
has he really learned?
You're in the sport
because
of
once he
hurting.
once he develops that like instinct, then we can really see if he's gonna have a career. So I'm excited because this is his second furrow, and he had a great fight last time, and
Yeah,
I
he
was
did.
excited.
And it was
so
over quick.
I want him to keep up the momentum because I think he can be that dude.
absolutely. So you agree? So we're unanimous on this one.
Yeah.
Makes me a little uncomfortable.
Let's get it done.
All right. Moving on.
Trust me, we'll come to a disagreement.
Moving on, we have Carlos,
Karla Esparza,
The
the
natural
Cookie Monster.
No, the natural born killer.
I think you guys skipped a fight.
Yes,
we
he
missed
did.
a few.
I think we need to fire
We
a
need-
producer.
See, dang,
Trying
they
to help
put it
him
out
give him
there,
some
man.
hints.
They put it out there. Carlos, the natural born killer, Condit.
Who doesn't even look like Woody Harrelson.
No, but he does look like a psycho killer, though.
He does?
Yeah, a little bit.
Look, I think you've been believing that guy talking about them bad hombres.
No.
But to me,
Trust me, it's the guy who looks like him.
Nah.
Like you would never think, and then all of a sudden,
he looks like the Cookie Monster.
He stabbed you?
looks, nah, Carlos looks cool.
You ever watch Criminal Minds, Brett?
see,
See?
that's what you need to
You
check
need to
out.
watch it.
Wait, he's too busy watching Stranger Things. Like you need to watch stuff like that. Didn't you see the killer? You realize the killer is that guy.
You know these are TV actors, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
You know that.
But these are like based on real people. Come on.
No, but I mean, have you seen what real?
Watch the first 48 hours.
Have you seen what real? Right.
You can't never realize it's the boyfriend who was nice, who helped you search for her.
No, right. No, you
He
always
killed
know
her in
that.
cold blood.
You always know that. But look at who the real serial killers are. Look at like Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff
Yeah.
like Ted
They're a little
Bundy.
bit weird.
Right? No, they look like
And
hi.
Carlos Condit. No.
Like hi. Like yeah, you know who Neil Brennan is?
No.
He
who
used
is
to
that?
write with Dave Chappelle.
Back in the day?
Yeah, he was talking about on his comedy thing. He was talking about 100% of the people who sit outside to eat food at Whole Foods are serial killers, and he's right. That's right. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Those are your murderers
Wow.
right
You
there.
walk by, you're like, oh wait, is that some
Bring
you know,
the paddy wagon.
is that some turmeric beef? You're a psycho.
Yeah.
Never mind. You don't make eye contact with them. They're on their earphones,
Keep
on the
walking.
computer.
Keep
Like,
walking.
who does that? Who leaves their job? Like, you know what? I think I'm gonna hang out in front of Whole Foods today.
Yeah.
They're looking for victims.
Right, exactly. They're looking for that one homeless person who sleep there too long.
Yeah.
Or they're just looking for the person that fits their MO.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'll
They're
wear,
looking for the blonde with the blue eyes.
Yeah.
I'll wear his skin.
Who wear the green sweater.
You know what I'm saying?
She's the one.
You know.
Yes.
You'll put the dog in the bucket.
I really like that jacket she's wearing. I gotta have it.
You will now.
Oh man.
You will now put the lotion. All right. Versus
This has gone off the tracks.
all the way.
I'll be honest.
Hey, by the way, that's not a shot at Washington. Terribly sorry to hear about what happened.
Oh yeah, that is bad.
That was
What?
bad.
Say what?
In all
She
seriousness.
said this went off the tracks. I was like, we're not making light of
No.
the Washington situation.
No.
I didn't even know about it anyway.
It's
Oh,
terrible.
Train went off. Amtrak went
It was
off the
really
tracks in
bad.
Washington
Oh, I didn't
State.
know that.
Like hella people were killed.
Yeah.
Versus Neil Magny, who has no nickname because he's Nice Neil.
Yeah. Poor
Just
Neil.
Kind of sad, yeah, because you got this whole Colorado connection. Neil was on a tear, great fighter,
Poor Neil.
but number 12 is not going to do much against number 8. Carlos
Neil.
Condit. I mean, a miracle could happen. A miracle could happen. Like,
Neil's a good dude.
he is a good dude, but he's not good enough to beat Carlos Condit's kickboxing.
My God, is Neil the journeyman fighter that someone made reference to?
That's a great question. I don't
Because
know-
I feel like Neil is that journeyman fighter. I don't even know why Neil's fighting anymore, honestly.
Neil doesn't know. Neil is great, but Neil is also maybe in the wrong weight class.
Where would he go?
If he could make 155, he would be in the top 3.
Okay, let me reel this in.
Here we go.
Okay?
Neil Magny
Because-
is possibly one of the best. I'm listening.
Let me reel this in. Because first of all, Neil Magny has taken the toughest fights in 2017, period.
Yes.
When you look at the resume of fights that he has taken in this year,
come back
you
to
can
this, by the way.
literally say that no one has taken the fights that he has taken.
gonna come
That
back
is
to
a
this.
fact. That is a fact. With that being said, Carlos Condit has been away for a long time.
Yes.
And when you already know what I say. When you have one foot out the door, you're already done. Carlos Condit had both his feet out the door. He will not win this fight. He will not win this fight. Neil Magny will actually win a fight against a tough fighter.
By what?
Miracle.
Decision.
I'm sorry. Not my miracle.
How do you feel? What is your pick?
You know what? I am rooting for Neil. I've learned to root for Neil because I used to pick against him all the time. But I feel like in this fight, and I really feel like this is going to be indicative of Neil's career. Like, I feel like he's going to be the journeyman fighter who never can quite crack that upper echelon. And I feel like, once again, he won't be able to crack that upper echelon.
Yeah.
That's
Again. Nobody.
So, of course, I'm picking Carlos, the natural born killer, Condit.
Nobody has
Because I
taken these
honestly
fights.
just think he's a little bit meaner
By decision?
than Neil. Yes. I don't. It might not be by decision. It could be by submission, but
I think he's going to surprisingly knock out Neil, sadly.
either way, it's Neil's not winning.
Okay.
I disagree.
All right, fair.
wanna
We're
see?
gonna come back to this.
I got a problem with fighters that have 2 feet out the door.
We're gonna come back to this toughest fights of 2017. Moving on. This one's a little
Are we
bit
gonna
close to
call
our
this
heart. We have Cynthia.
Get on the train.
Cynthia
Calvillo.
Calvillo versus Karla
Cookie
Monster
Monster.
Esparza, which is some San Jose versus San Jose by Sacramento kind of way, if you know what I mean.
I'm not going to go there.
Because they're both from San Jose.
Really?
Yes.
Carla Esparza's from San Jose?
Yes, she trains at AKA, dude.
Is she back? Is she over there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go see Carla.
No, she's at Omaya. She's at Omaya
She's in San
down
Francisco?
south.
Oh,
Dude, this is all
Southern
weird
Cal?
to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was in Southern
Team
California. Last I heard.
traitor! No,
I'm like, has she jumped ship? She was in Southern California.
Yep.
I saw some
Team
Instagram videos of her training at AKA.
Maybe
Okay.
she came over to get some specialized training.
Got it.
Possibly.
Wow.
Get her wrestle on.
Yeah. Karla is an incredible wrestler. And I just don't know what happened. Maybe she was injured. Maybe she just stopped being able to take a shot or whatever. But yeah, we haven't really, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't seen her since she lost the belt.
Yeah, she's had a comeback fight since
She's had
then.
a couple fights.
I think just
I
one.
can't remember. Yeah.
They were a lot
I
more
think she
violent.
just had
yeah.
one. But she won.
And then what is there to say about Cynthia that hasn't been said previously?
I love Cynthia
Yes, we
Calvillo.
Love
know.
watching her
Yes, we
fight.
know.
Team Alpha Male seems to have caught a second wind recently. Cody Garbrandt's loss seems to actually have been really good for the team as a whole. They're starting to get vicious and they're starting to evolve. As we saw by,
So you mean humble pie does tend to work sometimes?
I wouldn't know anything about that
Oh, okay.
because I don't really eat pie.
I think it's
not
just
my
about
diet,
other
but
people getting their shot.
Oh, I eat pie.
You know? That's what I think.
It's pie. But we know that Cynthia's hands are only getting nastier and nastier, and we know if she gets you on the ground, you're going to get choked out. So I'm already, although I'm not sleeping on Karla's wrestling, I think Cynthia's jiu-jitsu trumps it. She's
Wow.
Yeah, she's way too comfortable off her back.
I
Like
almost
I
had
think
to
she
yell
will
about
finish.
that.
She will fit like she can negate.
Are you
ground
talking
pound.
about Cynthia? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
The
excited.
real question is, how is her striking compared to Karla's?
Well, that's why I'm interested in this fight, because I feel like I know people, you're very excited about Cynthia. And I've kind of held, I'm not getting on the train because I feel like she had to go through like a couple strategic fights, and I think she did choose strategically her opponents. And I feel like right now, this is your opportunity to have a breakout performance for myself.
Oh,
Because I feel like you had to reach a certain echelon
Fair.
of fighters, and I feel like Karla Esparza will be a true test for Cynthia, for me personally. Because I feel like Karla, I would like for her to trust her hands for once, because I do think Karla has a lot of power in her hands, and I think she hits very hard. But I feel like she hasn't got to a point in her professional career to where she feels comfortable on the feet. And and I really do feel like she could have did a lot better against Joanna if she would have trusted the power that she has and if she would have trusted her hands more. But she's not a natural striker because she's so much of a wrestler.
Right.
And so I want to see her really start to evolve. So when you mentioned that she had possibly changed camps, I thought, well, maybe that could be the beginning of that evolution. Right. And so I'm hoping that Karla will start to trust in her hands more. And I really do think that this will be the true test for Cynthia Calvillo. And do I think that she will get past Karla Esparza? I'm excited to see. But me personally, I'm going to say no. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because people have a tendency to underestimate Karla because they don't necessarily view her entire body of work. So, yeah.
I personally believe that at some point within the near future, Calvillo will challenge for the strawweight title.
And we'll lose.
With that being said, I do not believe that this will be that day. I actually believe that Esparza will win this fight.
Oh, you guys are agreeing.
By decision. I just tend to think that these are the type of fights that young fighters tend to lose. These are the type of fights that when you're fighting a veteran like a Karla Esparza, sometimes it is the octagon intelligence that wins the fight.
Yes.
And I think that will be the case here. This will be a learning situation for Calvillo.
That's right.
But I do believe that she will take this loss and grow from it.
Yes. So I just think this will be the true barometer of where she is in her career.
Okay.
Yeah. And shame on them for using Karla as the stinking gatekeeper.
Well, she's got to stay active.
Yeah.
Or we handing out
She's
pink
been
slips.
injured.
Get your check.
We hand out pink slips this December.
Yeah.
Lord, no, JK, you.
Always.
You should have never been in the UFC anyway.
Year around.
Here's your check.
I mean, shoot. I mean, let's be honest. How many times am I wrong?
We actually have we should get back to tracking that.
We should get some
we're making
metrics. We should get some metrics, dog.
We should.
Yeah, I want my pick stuff right
You want
here.
your T-shirt for this
I
year.
want my pick junk.
I'm not talking about picks. I'm talking about those who need to be in the UFC and those who shouldn't. That's what I'm talking about.
Those who need and those who shouldn't. Moving on to our next fight. Jimmie Rivera
Who I
versus John. I actually have hands
Oh
of
my
Stone
God.
Lineker.
Now this is a fight of content on this card.
But this is weird because this should have been Rivera versus Cruz, if memory serves me correct. Did Cruz get injured again?
Yes, he broke his arm in training.
So I guess it's done.
Dominic is made of glass.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how long ago did I say that, though?
Even
Brett?
less, probably straw or
I
something
guess
like that.
he's got a new movie coming out too.
Really?
Yeah.
Go that route,
Because
Dominic.
it goes from Unbreakable.
Why do I fall for this stuff? I don't understand why I keep falling for this.
Unbreakable. No, it goes from Unbreakable to Split, and now they have a new movie coming connecting the universes.
And starring Dominic Cruz.
Starring Dominic Cruz
Why
as
not?
Mr. Glass.
Yes.
But I still love him. I'm still he's
Dominic,
the
you're
dude.
still awesome, dude.
You're still the best.
I think Dominic Cruz would be a phenomenal coach.
I think so.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
And he's great in those Toyo Tire commercials.
I think, no disrespect, Goldie, but I think Dominic Cruz is up there as one of the best announcers.
Commentator?
Yeah.
Color commentator.
color.
Oh,
Yeah, the
yes,
color guys,
absolutely. That's absolutely
Like,
true.
I think it's him and Daniel Cormier.
And with Rogan.
Yeah.
With Rogan.
I wanna
Yeah,
hear-
that
wanna
is
hear-
a great combination.
Yeah,
So
Love
that's
it.
that's your perfect color
Well,
commentary matchup?
So far,
Yeah.
those three
No.
seem to really get it.
I want them to pair Dominic Cruz. I want them to pair Dan Hardy, and I want them to pair that other British guy. Those are my.
That's my
type
point. I was just about to say, you don't
Those
even
are
know
my
his name.
super
You just like the
lineup.
accent. Dude doesn't even say anything.
Dan Hardy.
No, the other British guy.
I know, but he's sexy.
What
and I
other
like
British
how he
guy?
apologizes all
And
the
he
time
says-
for cursing.
Right, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. The
What other British
when
guy?
they do European cars, the guys who always
Yes.
helps out Dan Hardy.
Oh, play-by-plays don't even count anyway.
no, but the guy, when
No.
they do the little documentary ahead
Yeah.
of time, and they're like, so what should we look for here, Dan? He
Yes.
doesn't even know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, that's what I'm
He's
saying.
like the
like
British
him.
Mike Goldberg.
He's awesome.
He's like, so most jiu-jitsu
Well,
guys
I mean,
are known for flying jump kicks. What did you...
and I like
Hey,
how he's like,
hold on,
we
hold
want
on,
to
hold on.
apologize to the audience for the
can we-
swearing.
Can we put this in context though? Sure. Because play-by-play, those who do play-by-play, and those who are anchors or host of the show, their role is only to lead the color
And
commentators.
that guy,
That's
he-
it.
And that's what he
That's
does.
it.
He's a good
Lead
leader.
the
And you know what?
color
I think he's a
commentation.
better leader than John Anik. Because John Anik just
That's
says
not hard.
I was about
stupid
to say,
stuff all
That's
the
not
Let me
time.
hard.
explain something to you. There's,
not hard.
There's chalk sitting at the high school up the street that's better than John Anik.
Yes, he's terrible. I don't know how he got this job.
Go outside, look at the left side, and you see the dirt right by the mural?
This is so
That
bad.
dirt is better than John Anik.
You know what
John
bugs me the
Anik.
most
It's
about John
terrible.
Anik?
John Anik
What bugs me the most about John Anik?
is that his parents like cut off his name. They don't want to be honest. Like when he first came to the country, he was John Anecdote. And then they're like, look, that sounds too ethnic, so we're just going to call you John Anik.
Well,
There
there's
we go.
that. But the thing that bothers
Y'all see
me
what
the
I did there?
most about John Anik is as
This is John Anik.
a host, or as a play-by-play guy, you need to be able to pronounce the names correctly.
John Anik is a failed rap A&R.
Oh, for real?
No, but I'm just saying. He's just a hey, I like that stuff you're doing. Hey, you know, why don't you take that song about the Chronic? And I kind of know some guys over at
We can do something with
can-
that.
hey.
But my favorite thing is
I haven't
John
heard
Anik.
your music, but I heard it's hot.
Yes.
My favorite thing about John Anik is like, okay, you're 32, you're getting up there. Are you?
Yeah.
Well,
Where's
that-
your next
Yeah.
move?
Well,
He's always like, you're
yeah.
old.
Hey.
Well,
Hey, you know
Danielle,
who he is?
Danielle,
Oh, you're right. No, you're
Danielle,
right. You ever used to
that
watch
part
the Looney
is
Tunes?
actually correct, though.
Yeah, but that
No,
he
no.
says it to
Hey,
everybody.
you remember the Looney
You're
Tunes?
30, you're old.
You remember the old Looney Tunes where they have
That's
the one with
actually true,
the
though.
lion, and it was his birthday, right? And it'd be his birthday, and all the animals would come in the jungle and give him a tribute, and then the vulture would come in and give him a book, and from National Geographic, and they'd be like, the average lion lives
Yeah.
to like 26.
That's
his
John Anik all day.
And it's his 29th birthday,
Yes.
and the vulture's just looking at him
Yes.
like with a big ass
Yes.
bowl.
That's
Start
John
cutting
Anik.
up some carrots.
Yes,
That's John Anik.
that's
like,
John Anik all day.
Already
He's
got
like,
already got the pot
Yeah.
stewing.
He's like, you're 38.
Cutting up the carrots,
So,
throwing in the bell
You're 38.
pepper.
What would you like to do
right.
next?
Turn it into like Russell Peters' mom. So
Yeah.
you're not getting any younger.
That's all he says every single interview.
Yeah.
So you're 39.
So
You're 42.
Well, I mean that's true though.
So you had a
Danielle.
near-death experience in this ring.
You've been gone a year. What were your
What's
thoughts?
the afterlife?
Yeah. He's always like, so did you think about coming back?
Could you imagine him in the Marvel universe?
Oh my God.
So now that Asgard's
You know
gone,
what? Yeah, he would only show up when bad things happen.
Yeah.
He's like, so you're injured really bad.
so Mr. Starks,
Yes.
they exploded your
Yeah.
house.
What
Where are
do
the
you think
suits?
you're gonna do next? Yeah. Like,
Are
that's
you
who
gonna
John
build a
Anik
new
is.
prototype out of
my
scrap
God.
metal?
Yeah.
So
Right now,
don't think you're gonna beat
Yeah.
Thanos.
right now, what's it? Dominic Cruz is getting his arm wrapped up, and John Anik appears. He's like,
Right.
so, are you done? You finally done?
And he would want him to keep fighting because if Dominic Cruz is injured, your job's at risk, Anik.
Not
Your job's
really.
at-
Not
you
really.
don't get a pink slip
No, it's
this
not.
year.
You're
No, it's
gonna
not.
get an email from
Oh.
JK.
Hey, just so you know, John Anik.
First of all, he
Hey,
would
just so you
never
know,
been
John-
hired.
Hey, you know what Puffy tried to tell you? Or Usher tried to tell you? Don't leave your girl around him.
Yeah.
Hey, JK's feel that way about your job.
Hey.
I'd heard from a reliable source he's gonna be in Vegas soon. You better watch out. You better watch out. Hey, so
So bad.
So this is a very great, interesting bantamweight contest because both these guys have an extreme amount of power, and they both have really good wrestling and takedown defense. It's almost mirror images of each other, but I suspect that Rivera's a little bit smarter, and he hits with the power of an entire island, also known as Puerto Rico. My pick is I think it will be Rivera by TKO in the second round.
Do you know when's the last time Rivera finished a fight?
Dum dum dum.
There you go. 2010.
But let me know if I'm getting this right. John Lineker, you're not getting any younger.
I actually believe that John Lineker will finish this fight and knock Jimmie Rivera out.
Ooh,
Clean.
ooh, clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Okay.
Yeah, ice cream paint job.
It's gonna be beautiful.
I believe that John Lineker will catch Rivera with a left hook and outgo the lights.
He just had a bad night against DeShawn. That's what you're saying.
Teddy Pettigrew, turn out the lights and light a candle.
Turn him off.
Turn him off.
He talking about T-Pain, Teddy. But anyway.
No, I'm not.
I personally think I love John Lineker and I love Hands of Stone. And I really do, but John Lineker spends too much time. Like, at some point, you can't always keep looking for the knockout. And he has a tendency to stalk his opponents, looking for the KO. And while he's doing that, round 1 is done, round 2 is done, round 3. And then he goes into that fury. And it's like, you've lost the fight because you spent so much time.
That's a fair point.
Looking for the big punch. And I think in this fight, you're going to deal with somebody in Jimmie Rivera, who's going to probably win by points, and he knows it's that easy because we've seen John Lineker time after time after time look for that big punch and lose the fight because he's so concentrated on delivering that knockout that he loses focus and loses the fight.
That is a fair point.
So unfortunately, and I mean with his past history with, TJ Dillashaw, even his fight with Uriah Faber, we've seen that Jimmie Rivera is extremely under, people have a tendency to look past him. And I think that's a mistake. And I think that's the reason why we haven't seen him be so active. And so I think that he's going to prove why he's number 4 and John Lineker is number 6. John Lineker needs to learn how to fight smart. And he needs to realize that if you can't get the knockout, win by points. So I'm thinking it's going to be a W for Jimmie Rivera. And he's probably going to win by being evasive and basically stealing all the rounds by points.
But you have to be careful at this level. Mm-hmm. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. You know how I feel about guys who cannot finish the fight.
Yes.
Sooner or later, it's going to catch up with you, and I believe that Lineker is going to just knock him out clean.
Well, it would be nice.
2 things. I have one thing for each of you. First of all, would we know if you were blue in the face? Second, the thing when you go for those big power shots is you set yourself up for a counter.
That's right.
So it really is the classic case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The more you throw a big-ass punch, if you miss and the person counters, the bigger chance you have of getting knocked the heck out.
That is true.
Yeah. And I
mean, so he's setting himself up for that with Rivera.
I agree. I'm just saying that Rivera can't do it.
Okay, fair. Well, you heard our picks.
But that's why I say he'll probably win by points.
You heard our picks. We tried. Well, we're going to take a small commercial break and pay some of our sponsors. I am SweetMBA. I'm joined by
J.K. Akins.
And I'm also joined by
D Infamous Boogie.
And we are Cage Against the Machine. Everything you're hearing is recorded, edited, produced by DeShawn Davis for Dream Ear Productions. In addition, we are distributed by the Sly Show Network. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back.
We made it this far because of you, and we need more. If you tuned into Cage Against the Machine podcast via iTunes, we need you to act. Follow us on iTunes, rate us, comment, share with your friends, and post this podcast to your social media. Thank you.
It's not exciting like it sounds.
They look like the Dothraki.
Right. All right.
Moving on to our co-main event of the evening. Fighting!
Out of the blue corner.
Out of the blue corner. He hails from Dagestan, Russia.
He would be actually in the red. He would be in the red.
Red, blue. I don't separate these things the way you kids do. I bought all 3 Kendrick albums. Look,
I see what you did there.
It's a different generation. It's a different generation.
Okay.
He's about the liberation. Y'all about killing each other. No,
I was hoping that you would get it right, but I was like, oh, well.
How can you tell if it's the red or the blue corner?
Do you want to explain?
The red corner, okay,
generally,
is the person who is ranked higher.
Yeah. Or who has most experience. Mm-hmm. Who came to the party first.
And the blue corner is the guy who is ranked the lowest.
Right.
So, in terms of Nick Cannon's wilding out, who's the red or the black corner?
Unfortunately, they will pick Nick because he's been in the game for 100 years in the red corner.
Right, and he owns the show, so he gets to rig it that he's ranked higher. Got it.
Actually, he would be in the red corner, and what's his name? The little short guy, Kevin Hart, would be in the blue corner.
So red is the champion, blue is the challenger.
That's right.
Got it. Okay. So who's ranked higher? So in the red corner, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, by way of San Jose, California. She's really like Tracy. The master of the tiramisu suplex.
Terrible.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
The Eagle.
The Eagle.
I wish I would have worn my hat today.
Bow down and get your ego
This
on.
was a missed opportunity. I've been waiting to wear that hat, but he fights so. There's been tickets like I bought tickets where he's supposed to fight, bought my hat, was ready, and dude don't show up.
Get your ego on.
I should have wore that hat today.
Fighting in the blue corner, Brazil's own Edson. I don't even have a nickname. Barbosa.
He's junior. He's junior.
Who could see that?
Like Jose Aldo was junior for a little
I
bit.
have glasses.
Well, that's because they're literally named after their fathers.
Oh, see that's cute.
That's great. We do that here too, though.
Yeah. I like when I meet women who are named after their mom. Then I'm like, are you junior? But they don't. Why don't
How do you
they
feel
don't call
about
women junior?
How do you feel about people whose names are a combination of their parents' name? Yeah. I think it can work.
How long you had that problem?
Yeah. I got a man.
Oh man, it's sad.
But I think it works better for the men than it does the women.
Yeah.
You think so? Yeah, because sometimes it can be strange. Or have
it's
you ever
okay,
met
it's
people
like-
who like have the same people put they're all like the same, but then they like changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like their Erica, but then this one's with the A and that one's with the E.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they just use the same word over and over again, and they just kind of make
Yes.
different vowel sounds, like
Like how many Georges
Michael,
is there?
Mickle,
Yeah.
Malco. You're like, yeah.
You got 4 kids with the same name.
Oh man.
When
Yeah.
you get mad and call them in the room, it's gonna sound like you coughing.
Yes.
Wow.
But I'm an egomaniac. I name my kids after me.
I'm gonna do what my dad did and just hint, be like, you
Get over here.
get over here, shut up.
Over here.
I'm biased going into this fight. I will say that I am a big fan of both of these fighters' fights stylistically, but I have to do this in layers. I always am going to root for local fighters, then I'm going to root for these Dagestanis, and I'm especially going to root for Khabib. So I think this fight could go 2 ways. I think this is really Edson Barbosa's fight to lose. If he does very technical striking and is very conservative, he can outpoint Khabib. He probably won't get booked again for a while because it'll be a boring fight, but he'll win.
Okay.
If he makes these 2 mistakes, if he opens up his striking and goes off with multiple combos, he's going to end up on his back. If he does any type of spinning technique, he's going to end up on his neck.
He's going to die.
Yeah. Either one of these combinations is going to end the fight for Khabib Nurmagomedov. There is a puncher's chance, literally, of him winning.
Oh. I'm excited.
Thoughts?
Not sure how much I can elaborate on that because I see this fight as only one of 2 ways. If the fight remains standing, it's Barbosa. If the fight goes to the ground, it's Nurmagomedov in a smash. So my question is going to be, how does Barbosa keep his distance? And obviously he's a Muay Thai guy, and the way that Muay Thai guys keep their distance is by using leg kicks.
Right.
The problem is when you're fighting a Sancho guy,
Going to get
you're
the leg
going for a ride.
Yep, you're going to get a leg kick. And it's going to hurt, too. He's going to make him
Yeah.
pay for it, too.
Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing how Barbosa's corner devises a plan to come away with this victory.
Yeah.
Because the very second this fight goes to the ground, it is OVER
Right.
in all capital
Right.
letters. So
Start booking the next fight.
yeah. And we would probably be getting the Nurmagomedov Tony Ferguson fight that we should have saw in the
Yeah,
first
we
place.
that we were denied last year at this time.
So
I love it.
don't know.
I'm so surprised by this. This is why I like to come and do the podcast. Because I want to hear what other people, what their other, thoughts are. And I'm, surprised. I'm always surprised. This fight, I don't see E going any other way. But, I do really like Khabib. I like Khabib from the very beginning. And I'm just there's no way anybody's beating Khabib. He's going to smash Barbosa. There's no way Barbosa can win. But I really appreciate him for taking this fight because I want Khabib to come back. And I really do completely think that he's the champion. He's just uncrowned. And, I mean, it's unfortunate, too, because he's a little bit glass, too. So I'm kind of, like, disappointed in his lack of durability. But I'm excited that he's finally come back. And, I really hope that he doesn't win this fight and then start talking mess and then go on another, like, 6 to 8 year, like, layoff. But, you know, hopefully he's really come back and he's ready to fight because I really do feel like he's the uncrowned champion of the division. And I would love to see, like, the Eagle era begin because I really do feel like he's unbeatable. And I think people forget, like, his past performances. Khabib is extremely well-rounded on the feet. I think he's a great fighter, and I think he punches hard, and I think he has the ability to knock people out. And I think on the ground, I think he's the most well-rounded fighter, and I'm going to make a big declamation, which I never do. I think he's the most well-rounded fighter, like, completely in the UFC. So I'm excited to see this fight. I'm happy to see that he's back. Unfortunately, I didn't pay no money for this card, and I'm not going to go. But I'm going to put my hat on, and I'm going to watch him walk into the stadium, and I'm happy that he's back.
You can join us and come
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, I
public.
really should have been gone over to AKA and been like, what's going on? But, you know, I have a tendency to want to catch people in the moment. So I'm like, when that moment's going to happen, I'm going to meet Khabib one day, and I'm be like, you're the best fighter in the UFC. Just too bad that you're always injured, but he's awesome.
They've got to change the training regimen because I don't think it's a durability issue as much as I think it's an issue of a lack of a rest.
The man used to fight bears. What is going on at AKA? I think at some point they've got to ask themselves those questions because
These training camps have been too grueling.
it's too much. It's too much.
They also, I think we could get this in the metrics. I also think they lead the league in belts.
We'd have to
Maybe.
check.
Not in terms of
No, I know what you mean.
continuous
You're talking about
defenses.
you're talking about
Right.
actually
if we go
winning.
through, if we just
Yeah.
go through
As
talking
far
about
as
actually
gyms.
winning.
divisions and
Yeah.
belts, we're going to see a lot of them.
Well, I think you're going to
Okay.
probably have AKA.
Well, they also
You're
have
probably
a
gonna
lot of
have,
champions in-
Jackson's. Yeah.
I think Jackson is continuous dominance of, like, if we just take Rashad Evans, John Jones, GSP, which is kind of a hybrid,
right.
but we just see dominating a division.
But then when you take out all the failed drug tests, then you have a clear winner, and that's AKA.
Right.
It's just
Right,
what it
because
is.
you have heavyweight,
That's right.
light heavyweight, and also, and again, you have two different organizations. You have, like, the Strike Force and UFC. So you get heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, I feel like and I mean, unfortunately, like MMA fans are like have short memories. And Khabib been on the shelf for so long, I think people really forget like his stand up and how well rounded he is, and he's the complete fighter.
And you have to remember the X factor, the intangibles.
The sexiness.
Not for me personally, but what I would say is,
tried.
although this window is closing soon, from what I've been reading, it's still Russia's year.
I loved it, and I like how he introduced.
I see what you did
all
there.
the fighters for Dagestan, because now it's difficult for me to pick against Dagestan because they're doing some marvelous things over there in Russia.
They sure are.
So big ups to the Russian invasion.
Although I have to talk
I
about
got
my
a serious
heartbreak.
problem though with splitting your training camp between Russia and San Jose. That is too much for the body to
It's
handle.
grueling.
I think I would say that's actually part of the injuries. The other part is
It's a lot.
the injuries is cycling through a fast,
It's a lot.
right?
Oh
Cycling
yeah, during the Ramadan.
Yeah.
Ramadan,
Yes.
right? And then training. You know, it's really good, but you got to keep that up all year. So if you're doing Ramadan all year and you're kind of doing intermittent fasting, that's great. But if you're going to do that for, you know,
One whole month.
one whole month and
During
then,
daylight
and then
hours and still
And
train.
then the other dangerous thing about it that a lot of people don't realize in the culture, right, is, and you know, from my limited understanding, is you do the fasting, and then at night, what people do is, because your body's so
Yeah.
craving sugar, they make some of the most delicious desserts ever. So then you're pumping in all this sugar and then starting again, which can be really bad as an athlete.
And then on top of that, and I would also like to make a little parallel here. And this is something that you two probably won't be able to relate to, but I'm going to mention it anyway. One of the most respected athletes in some generations, we're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Akeem Olajuwon, who were also Muslim and had to play a basketball season
During Ramadan.
during Ramadan.
Right.
And have to fast for an entire month during daylight hours, playing a 12-game schedule, or sometimes all the way up to 18 games in a 30-day span. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Now, my question is, let's say that my prediction comes
and we're
true.
talking about 7-footers, no less.
And Habib, wins the championship and he wins the belt. How do you, in our political climate, market a Muslim fighter who's so doing Ramadan and all this stuff? How do you mass market a fighter like that in our racially tense climate?
You don't do it here. You do it where he's king.
There you go. There you go.
You do it in a place where you'll get $1 billion. In the same way, Ireland is not a big country, but when Sauron shows up, all of Ireland comes.
Can I interject in another way?
Because it's not like they can show up to anything else like the Olympics.
Right.
What you do though, is you don't market Nurmagomedov at all.
Right.
You actually use him as the villain.
Right.
Which is every bit as profitable.
That's right. That's what they did for Ronda too.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
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 Make him the villain, which is easy.
Try to get people to see him lose.
The only problem is Nurmagomedov is such a good guy.
Right.
He's such a nice guy.
He's one of the kindest people in mixed martial arts.
And I think there'll be those of us who are like, we know what's going on. But I mean, you still have to market to casual fans because you still need those pay-per-view money.
And he would be the villain.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Depends who he goes against.
Yes.
I think he would be the villain no matter who he goes
Chael?
against.
No, against
in America.
Yes.
And against Tony Ferguson. Think about the conflict. That's what we said about the fight before, right? You got a Muslim from Russia versus a Mexican. I mean, who do we hate more?
You got
right
the
now? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude.
You know?
That's when you bring in Wonder Boy.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta admit, when the whole thing went,
Make Obamacare the ref, and you really.
when the whole thing with Francis Ngannou, that was the first time in my lifetime that I had seen in which an African in a sport was not the hated one.
Right.
Which was, for me, that was interesting.
That was refreshing.
Because, obviously, as an African here in America, I grew up as the hated one.
Right. I was saying when I watched that fight, I was like, I haven't seen this many people clapping for an African.
But you know
since
why?
Live Aid.
You know why? Because
Serious.
it was two of the same color guys. Wait till he fights Stipe. Then you'll see.
Good point.
Then you'll see.
And a guy who's
It's
based
always
out
like
of
that.
Ohio.
When it was Rashad versus Rampage, people
Yep.
were like, we don't know what's going to happen. They're both big and athletic. But then wait till it's Rashad versus Chuck Liddell.
Chuck
Then
Liddell.
all of a sudden, we hate him. We don't know why we hate him. So trust me, it'll happen. Wait till Stipe.
Yeah, but he'll
be the villain.
This is the reason why I said that. The reason why I said that is that even though Overeem is
Brown.
black,
Yes.
he is also based from Europe.
That's right. That's why I say he's brown.
So
Yes.
It's always been a very interesting dynamic, and I'm only mentioning this because I have been through this my entire life,
Right.
myself,
Right.
So I know how it is. Like growing up in middle school, true story. Growing up in middle school, this was my first year in America, first couple of months actually, and I spent that entire school year being shadowed by a faculty member because there was the stereotype out there about the African child soldiers, and we're talking about obviously the late 80s.
Right.
So, the information was so few that they thought that all of us were crazy.
Right.
And that we would just pick up an assault weapon and start shooting people, or, grab a pencil and start stabbing people out of nowhere for no reason.
Or worse, you might attract African killer bees.
Just crazy joke.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing. Okay.
So
Moving on.
I was literally
Right.
followed around
Right.
by a faculty.
So I
member.
think we
That's
got our
what you're saying.
pick. We understand, and I like the way you put it. If it goes to the ground, we know it's Khabib. All right. Moving on
Habib, no matter what.
to the main event of the evening. Fighting Every time he jumps, I
Out of
wonder
the blue
if
corner.
he's going to injure himself. Out of the blue corner.
And he's done it before.
Now you
Let's
know
see.
who's in the blue corner,
I
right?
think I do. Let's see if I.
All right, let's see.
It's like you ever taken
I'm excited.
online traffic school? It's like you got to see if we.
Yeah.
Let's see if I studied.
I
Okay,
think I
hold
know
on.
what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll back and see if I got it. All right, hold on.
I'm excited.
Whoever's lower rank. Okay, fighting out of the blue corner. She is the preacher's daughter.
Yeah, baby.
She is the person who hates our podcast the most. Holly, I knocked out Ronda Rousey. Holm. No shots fired, but
Yeah.
our producer DeShawn Davis wants to know what you did to his wife. Why you have to kick her in the head like that,
Dude, Ronda's my favorite fighter. We'll never be cool. I'm just like, Holly, come on. No. Can't.
I'm mad at
So
you.
I always had to like pick
I'm not mad at her. She's mad at me.
I'm not mad at you at all. I actually think you elevate the sport, but I do feel like you started all the fashion. I feel like every woman in Oakland now wants to look like Holly Holm.
Oh, okay.
It's like the basic starter kit. Like just go to Lululemon, start drinking some juices.
What happened to the town red? What's going on? Is
You know
we
what?
on the town blonde now?
You know what I mean?
We shifted.
Right. You know what I'm talking about. Basic. All right. Fighting. Chris Justino Cyborg. And that's not her alias, Cyborg. That's her mama named her Cyborg. Her last name is Cyborg.
No, it's
No,
not. It's
it's
Justino.
Justino.
Then why I say it up there?
Her husband, they came to an agreement because she was known as Cyborg and Strikeforce. So when they
Right.
got divorced, he allowed her to keep using the name because she didn't tattoo it on her arm. So it's become part of her.
Yeah,
We're
so her
synonymous
name.
with her.
Yeah, her name is actually her married name was Justino
Cyborg.
Santos.
Yeah, but then
I would have changed my name back.
because what's his name? What's his first name? Cyborg in
Evangelino?
Strikeforce. Evangelino.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
AKA
Evangelista or something
Evangelista,
like that.
a.k.a. Dented
Yes.
Head.
Yes.
Yeah, that was gruesome.
He was not made of
That
steel.
was gruesome.
It was ugly.
That was gruesome.
I thought she was gonna be like, "Oh, honey," but it didn't happen.
No, she was. Oh, I'm sorry.
She got a new boo.
Right. Gabby?
Yeah, no comment.
You really shouldn't do that.
No
Shouldn't,
comment.
because she does
It's
scare me.
plenty of chicks
Both of
who's
them
out
scare
in
me.
the
Let's keep it real.
UFC.
Let's keep it real. I was talking so much trash, but if Cyborg came up and slapped me in the mouth, I'd be snitching just
Cyborg
like
nice.
Angela Magana. I'd be snitching the minute. And you know what? I would never clown Cyborg because Cyborg leads the league in liking Cage Against the Machine podcast.
And she's really super nice.
This is true.
She's very nice.
She always has something nice to say on our social media, on our podcast. She'll never say no hater stuff. So anybody who got jokes about cyborgs, you can see me.
Yeah. And she's really nice.
She's very cool, and I appreciate that she slapped Angela, and I like that she's hood, and I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a great fight. Why is this a great fight? Multiple things. It unlocks this women's division that's been a little bit stagnant. It took too long for them to get this belt going. We need some more action, and this is important and draws more eyeballs. Secondly, I think this one could argue that Cyborg is as known as Ronda Rousey in terms of women's MMA. They share the brand in terms of across the world for casuals. They may not know other fighters,
Yes.
but they know these two.
I believe that's true.
3, you have really good technicians, okay? Holly Holm, in addition to being a professional boxer who actually trained in the Mayweather camp, is a pretty significant kickboxer under Mike Winkeljohn, as demonstrated by putting her ankle on Ronda Rousey's chin.
And she actually has trained with Mike Winkeljohn since she was 16.
Right.
Since she was
right.
a young lass,
Yes. And that, by the way, that technique is called a switch kick, a lead
I
switch kick.
could care less.
It's
Or,
It's very
well,
hard
in
to do that.
Taekwondo, it's a lead round.
I don't want to see
lead
that.
roundhouse, absolutely.
That was terrible.
It was great. And the way she pushed her into it, too, was great. Against, Chris Cyborg, who I would argue has probably the most power in her hands I have seen out of any women fighter. But her number one weakness being she does not always land. Her accuracy has been a skill that she has just learned. We saw it really step up under her time with Rafael Cordero at King's MMA. But she's moved over recently to the Ruka Training Center under Jason Perillo. what's the team name? It's Bisping's camp.
That is Evolve MMA.
Evolve MMA. And we've seen, as a testament, we could see if we look at what Bisping was able to do to Henderson, Silva, and Rockhold, that a lot comes from Jason Perillo, who's a really unsung
hero.
MMA coach.
That's right.
He does not get enough notice.
He does not get any
you
pub
link-
at
if you
all.
get
enough
But I
credit.
don't think he cares.
No, and that's what makes him great. He's just in it for making good fighters. But I think if you look at and link him to some of these fighters, you see that his technique in terms of boxing, he's really top of the line. I also believe Kelvin Gastelum was training with him for a while too, which is why he did in Bisping so nice. So you really have ultimate technique and volume versus power. And then I also feel like, who do you think has got the advantage in jiu-jitsu here?
I don't.
Is
even
that
think
even a
matters.
real
No, I'm
question?
serious. I'm just saying.
Is that a real
Yeah,
question?
none of that
Look,
matters.
It's Justino.
It's not going to the ground.
It's Justino.
I don't like stereotypes. Just because she's
Yeah.
Brazilian doesn't mean she's good at it.
She's better than Holly Holm, though.
I'm just saying.
I mean, all those things are untested.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that maybe
We could just
Holly Holm's
assume.
wrestling is better.
That might be fair.
Well, I think it's important at
That
this
might
point
be
that we
fair.
segue into like strategy, because I mean, like you said, you're dealing with like two like highly touted strikers,
Right?
and I
But
appreciate
different types of striking.
different type of striking, and I appreciate that Cyborg has started to introduce strategy into her fighting style. A couple years ago, we could see. Like, you look at Cyborg when she was in Strikeforce, she was aggressive.
Yeah.
She more like
She's a brawler.
shooter box.
I mean, she's still that.
More shooter box style. Rush in, get it done.
Yeah, she was-
finish opponents.
she
A
was-
flurry of
She was-
activity.
when she started, she was the female axe murderer.
That's right, she was.
She was
very much
Vanderlei.
like that. Jessica
She was
Andrade is
yeah.
still very much like that. The shooter box style. And now you've seen
Well, it's funny you
Cyborg start to evolve. And
funny you
now she
bring that
starts
up.
to slow down, pace herself.
Yeah.
Now she wants to be a little bit more strategic.
I would even-
I don't think like strategic to the point where it's difficult to figure out what Cyborg's strategy is. But I do think that she's a little bit more strategic than she was, and I think she's like pacing herself more
yep.
because she's assuming that the girls in the UFC are going to be more of a challenge. Or at this point, I think Cyborg just does stuff for her own like pleasure and well-being and just to test her own self, because we really haven't got that test yet. And I think that this will be Cyborg's supreme test in the UFC. I think back to her fight against what's her name? She's the champion over in Invicta, and she came over
Vegan answer?
filthy.
Oh,
No.
wait, who?
Filthy. What's her name? She just fought her. Yeah, she just fought her.
The trucker.
She's on my. I'm looking right at her face.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness.
Tip
This
of
is
my
terrible.
tongue. Yeah.
This is why the UFC got too many freaking fighters, bro. Back in the day, I could name every single person. Now
Right,
I'm like,
right,
one of them. Chicks.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get like a UFC card like once every blue moon.
Yes. But anyway, her last fight against the former UFC, the former Invicta champion, I felt like she could have did a lot better in that fight.
Right.
But you've seen a more tempered Cyborg, a more patient Cyborg. And I still feel like her strategy is the same in every single fight. But, we seeing Cyborg take her time and in finishing fights and be patient. And so, I mean, I think that's part of her evolution. I do feel like she's dealing with somebody who has the strategic advantage, because you have Greg Jackson and Winklejohn behind them, and they seem to be master strategists. And they're really good at knowing what their fighter is good at,
Right.
and what the opponent is weak at. And I
Right.
think when you come to strategy, this time she's faced somebody she's never faced before.
Right.
And Cyborg is not, she's lost before in recent history. And people talk so much about Ronda Rousey and her one loss. Cyborg lost that kickboxing, or what was it, Muay Thai match?
Muay
She's
Thai
never
match.
fought Muay Thai again.
No.
So don't try to act like, oh, Ronda's being a push. No, there's a lot of people who are like, okay, I'm gonna back away from this and go back to my strength. In this case, Ronda trying something different. Cyborg hasn't fought Muay Thai again because she lost to that chick. And I knew she was going to lose to her because Cyborg has a tendency to face people who are smaller than her. And Holly Holm is not smaller than Cyborg.
Right.
So this is going to be a true test.
At least height-wise.
At least height-wise. And Kat Zingano, there's a lot of significant threats to Cyborg at 145. And I really do think that if she's able to get past Holly Holm, which I think that she will not, you probably will see this lead to Cyborg's retirement. I don't
And by
feel
the
like
way-
she's going to fight much longer.
By the way, that fighter that you were looking for was Tanya Evinger.
Tanya Everett.
Yes.
I was going to say Tanya Day. I was like, that's not doing
Yeah, who is not a true 145. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think strategy-wise, I think what has happened with Cyborg is she started off again as the Vanderlei, the female Vanderlei.
Yes.
Then she turned into the female Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
There's a lot of brawl and sprawl.
Yes.
Now she's picking her shots, but I don't. Other than power, there's not a true technique set where I could say she's a master.
She has an advantage, no.
Right. Whereas Holly has some things that she is clearly better at. I would agree with you. I think actually this is going to be a pretty big upset. I think this is going to be Holly Holm's fight.
Put the house on Holly.
I think Holly will knock out Cyborg with a counter.
I think it really, honestly, with a head kick. Because if
Yeah,
you look
yeah,
at all
yeah,
of
yeah.
Cyborg's
Yeah,
fights
yeah.
and the fighters she's fought against,
Yeah.
none of them throw kicks and none of them throw head kicks. And like I said, there have always been a reach advantage for Cyborg and a height advantage. And I think when you're dealing with Holly Holm, one, she has lateral movement. Because Cyborg's strategy is always consistent, all the way from the time she fought Gina Carano. And that's cut off the cage, put the fighter back to the cage, and then go in for her signature, like, we going to go ahead and brawl it out. And Holly's going to move laterally. So she's not going to be able to cut off the cage effectively, and Holly's going to be able to escape a lot of those positions. And because Holly works well off angles, she's going to be able to find that angle, and she's going to head kick Cyborg and put her out. And if it doesn't happen, I think it'll take some time. She's going to have to catch Cyborg's timing because Cyborg is going to be very cautious because she knows Holly's a dangerous opponent. And so I think that you'll see Cyborg uncharacteristically start slow. And she's going to start slow and she's going to be calculated and she's going to try to pick her times when she can go in. But Holly's going to probably play the role of a counterpuncher. And she's going to look for those openings. And I think because we really haven't seen Cyborg go the distance in a long time, and I think that Holly's going to put a pace on her. She's going to put a pace because she's going to make Cyborg come after her. And Cyborg's going to come after her because that's what she does. That's her natural instinct is to chase. To chase her prey. And she's going to get tired probably by the third, fourth round. That's going to reveal those openings, and I think she's going to win by head kick just like she did against Ronda.
Well, one of the things that Holly Holm is very good at, she can fight from both sides.
Yeah.
She can switch stances, and I think the key to the fight is going to be the inside leg kick from the southpaw, as well as the body kick to later set up the head kick.
Yeah.
As we know, Justino has issues with gas tank.
Yeah.
Because her weight cuts are extremely difficult. So what Holly Holm is going to do, I think you're going to see her switch from both the orthodox and southpaw sides and try to utilize both of those stances for the body kick. Also the inside leg kick. With that being said, I don't think that Holly Holm is going to last long enough for that to actually take effect.
Well, I mean,
I think that this is going to be a quick fight. I think you are going to see. I think what you're going to see is Justino, the classic aggressive Justino, and I think she is going to bum rush and crowd Holly Holm to avoid the leg and body kick.
because she knows.
Because
That's her
obviously,
best bet.
because obviously, Holly Holm is the better striker. Let's not even act like that's not the case. Holly Holm is the better striker. She is the better overall fighter. However, Justino's ability to be the bully will be what wins this fight for her. So I think she is going to crowd Holly Holm early to avoid the leg and body kick, maybe even put this fight in the clinch and end it there.
Well, I do think that she's the higher caliber Muay Thai striker because Holly Holm seems to have needs to have distance in order to
Absolutely.
Initiate her attacks. And I think Cyborg knows that. So she needs to stay in close. And so I think that's why we'll see her being aggressive. But I do think that Holly's natural tendency for lateral movement, because the cage and the boxing ring, I think she's going to do a lot of lateral movement. And that's going to, cause Cyborg to tire, because she's going to get tired.
I agree.
Trying to cut off the cage. And Holly, unfortunately, she never gets freaking tired. So Holly can go all day. And I think that's going to be an issue for Cyborg. So I think that will be her strategy going in. But I do not think that it will be effective in the long run.
That's why I believe that Justino is going to put this fight in the clinch.
She's going to try. Yes.
Because the one thing that we know,
fighter.
There is a strength difference between the two.
Well, we'll see.
Justino
we'll
is definitely stronger than Holm. There's
know.
no question in
Holly
my mind
kinda
about
yoked.
it. Yeah, she's yoked, but
Holly
that
didn't
has...
do PED. Holly didn't do PED.
That's just me.
You can't undo the stuff. You just can't.
Okay, now I will have to say this, because you said Holly already hates us anyway, so who cares?
No, she hates me, not us.
Well, I'm just saying. Did you see the little picture with like the penis and all that stuff with the little bulge and all that? So there's a lot of speculation out there what's going on at Jackson and stuff with the female fighters. But, she could just be like, God could have just did like, there you go, Holly. That's what
Y'all
it is.
Terrible. Y'all
You
are
never
so
know.
terrible.
I'm just saying.
What? I didn't say anything.
But I'm just saying, because you brought up the PED thing.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't bring up the PED thing.
Look, and
you
if it
can
goes-
you can Google it. It's all over there. It's
I'm
gonna
not
be
going to
out
go to
there.
speculation. I'm going to go.
I'm not saying speculation.
I'm not going to speculation, but I will say this. If it goes to the clinch, that's why I asked about it.
Yes.
I believe that Holly has more tools to do a takedown.
Oh, and I think
She's
that
not
Holly
strong
would be,
enough to get Justino down, though.
I think she has
you
better.
forget,
I think
because
she has better.
Tanya Everger got
better-
Cyborg down multiple times.
Yeah, I think she has better technique.
Yeah, Tanya Evinger, I think,
Filthy.
is an actual wrestler. Holly
Yeah.
Holm is not.
But she's been
She
over
will
there.
not be able to get Justino down.
Fair.
Not a snowball's chance in hell.
Well, see, those are X factors, and then another X factor is I want to see if Cyborg's aura has intimidated Holly, because that's another part.
I think she's
that's
built for the
another
big
X
moment.
factor that
She's
Cyborg
already had the
has.
biggest moment in mixed martial arts history. Holly Holm has already had the biggest moment in mixed martial arts history. So she will not be afraid of the moment.
Well, you know what? I
And
think
was part
Holly
of,
was
like-
like a little bit mad at Ronda too.
Yeah, well, I would be too. Well, I think we have our picks. Now we have nothing left to do but watch the
So am I
fights.
the only one picking Holly?
No, I picked Holly.
I'm picking Justino.
Yeah.
Knockout in the first round.
Let's get some money.
I think it's a third round knockout. For
Put your house on it.
We're going to take another break, pay some bills. I am the Sweet MBA. I am joined by,
J.K. Akins.
and I'm also accompanied by,
The Infamous Boogie.
everything you're hearing on this podcast is recorded, edited, produced, fixed up, and stylized by DeShawn Davis for Dream Era Productions. We are distributed through the Slideshow Network. Holler, we'll be back after these commercial messages. Butter cookies. Big Newtons.
We're powered by.
Powered by.
This is Tyson Griffin.
Sean Bunch.
Myron the Hitman Smith.
Jordan the Juggernaut Powell.
Mauricio Alonso. Shout out to Cage Against the Machine, MMA Podcast, MMA Fantasy League for you.
You Google him right now, because I'm about to Google him.
And we are black. A little bit of beige and some butter pecan.
Dang.
What's going on? Things to look for. Recap of 2017. We might do a 2017 recap show. Maybe not today, but we will talk about some things coming up. So RDA this weekend, for those who don't know, Rafael Dos Anjos
Yes.
beat the mother-loving crap out of
Just dismantled.
The former champion.
out of Robbie Lawler. 400 unanswered strikes. 400 unanswered strikes.
Just dismantled
Just
the man.
dismantled. And so the debate is, well, he should obviously be the contender for the belt. Hell no, Silent Bob. Hold on. Stop that train real quick. Stop that
I
train real
want to
quick.
hear.
So I understand my good brother here has a different opinion, and I actually respect it deeply. My argument is the difference between the way things are and the way the things that should be. Who has RDA beat besides Robbie Lawler in this division?
What are you saying?
Who else has he beat?
He just came to the division. He beat somebody
Thank
before.
you.
Who
He-
was it?
Neil Magny. He just came to the division.
Neil Magny is fighting on the main card.
So why is this guy a title contender?
He fight number 4.
Don't you
remember?
believe? Shouldn't he be fighting another
He
contender?
fighting Carlos Condit.
So yeah, how about RDA fight Carlos Condit or fight Wonder Boy or fight his homeboy Damian Maia before we start talking all that.
I'm good.
Or you know the fight I really want to see?
I want to hear.
Colby Covington, RDA
Versus the world?
versus RDA in Brazil.
Do it. Let's make it happen.
Over a pit of alligators.
Let's tweet it. Over a pit
I
of
have tweeted it.
all the people inside of the arena.
Right, absolutely.
Don't beat up Kobe. I don't think Kobe Covington can he go back to Brazil for his own safety.
No,
the
I think-
UFC is afraid to send him to Brazil.
No, it's
at
just
this point.
expensive, right?
The cold part about
He'll
it
be
is
killed.
Fabricio Verdum is the one who was in the wrong. That's the cold part about it.
Well,
For what?
he was provoked.
For buying a boomerang?
He was provoked because Cody had said all that crazy stuff. You filthy animal.
But guess what? That's not how the law works. The way that the law works is you can say whatever you want as long as you don't touch somebody.
Bro, this is fighting. Fighting is like them
yeah,
is
but
fighting words.
that's out on the
you
street.
get the
cannot-
hammer, and that was on the street. You get the boomerang, dog.
That is out on the street. You cannot
Get
do
the
that,
boomerang,
Danielle.
dog.
Could you imagine what would happen to me if I sat up there and just if somebody called me the N-word, guess what? I still don't legally have the right to actually touch them.
But you know what? You have every right to touch them. Do you see the difference between reality and fantasy? The fantasy is the law that says that words won't provoke you. The reality is words do provoke you, and you will get these
I agree with
hands
what you're saying.
upside your head.
I agree with what you're saying, but the problem is law is law, and that cannot be superseded
I'm not
with how you
saying he
feel.
didn't break
Which
the law.
law where, though?
There you go.
It was Australia.
Australia.
And that would even be the case here in America.
So $600 fine. But here
Pay the money,
you hit someone with a boomerang.
and you get boomerang.
Yeah, you're done.
Now, how come
Done.
Cyborg gets to pop Magny in the mouth?
She said,
And people talk mess about her, but
but-
Verdum can boomerang Kobe, and
I agree
everything's
both.
cool.
I hear what you're saying. I agree with what JK is saying. He's absolutely right, and that's the law, and you should be responsible. But I feel like this is that sport that if you talk that smack, it should be able to go down at any time.
Well,
I'm not saying I think that what I'm saying is being misunderstood.
Okay.
okay.
This is what I'm saying. The law is the law.
So what you saying?
What I'm saying is that sure, words can provoke you. They can. And I'm not saying that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm saying that when you're a professional fighter, you got to be smarter.
Oh, because you get your hands registered. Right. Like anybody who has a black belt has to register their hands.
That's all I'm saying.
Me personally, if I was Verdum, I would have handled that differently. I wouldn't have thrown a boomerang. I would have thrown something like a stuffed koala, like something, you know what I mean? Like something that can't hurt
That was
nobody
soft.
and beat the crap out of him like with a teddy bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that like when it goes
Stuff
to
it
court.
flying everywhere.
Right. When it goes to court. So say this back to me again, Judge. I'm in trouble because I hit him with a pillow.
Yes.
I'll do community
It was
service.
a vicious beating by
My
Pillow.
pillow. I choked him out with a bathrobe. Sure, you win. But yeah, no, I would like to see Kobe Covington versus RDA.
He
don't
called him out after the
I don't
fight.
want, yeah, I don't want to take in. No, he didn't. He called out.
did.
He called out T Wood. Covington called him out.
Yeah, after he won. And he was like, you filthy animal and all this
Right,
stuff. And you
right.
fight me over in Brazil and blah,
Good.
blah, blah.
Right. Or I'd like to see RDA versus Damian Maia,
but there's also this other portion of it, right?
yeah.
Where if it was me saying the words that Kobe Covington were saying,
Oh, we know.
Well,
just saying.
well, my
know.
whole thing is, dude, I don't know what's going on with Kobe Covington. I think that he's had, what was that, testosterone or whatever, that replacement? Like, you know how Chael used to be quiet and then all of a sudden he boosted up on that testosterone and became crazy?
But that wasn't testosterone. Chael Sonnen, as much as I dislike some of his choices, is not stupid.
Well,
No.
that's what I'm
He's
saying.
not- he's
Perhaps
the-
Kobe is a super genius on the unders.
It's not stupid genius. It's like he's
No.
And he's trying to play
Look,
this game.
look,
He's
look,
trying
look.
to be the heel.
No.
It's like this. Okay.
You know?
I ain't buying that.
I'll put it to
Hell
you.
no.
It's like this. Do you think what's her name?
T Wood?
Not Azalea Banks. What's the other one?
What? Who?
Double D. What's the other one? The Australian rapper girl from the South. Not Azalea Banks. What's the other one?
There's another one?
No, the other one. Yeah. That's
How many
another one.
Australian chicks are living in
Catch
the
Me
South?
Outside is one, but the other one
yeah.
was the other one before who was rapping. Who she had to get dragged on social media to let her know she can't use the word.
It was Izzy.
Izzy Azalea or whatever, right? Her. Same thing. At a certain point, you know that your allure is playing off, so what they do, they start showing off their body, right? And then you get dragged. That's all he's doing is saying, look, I know that I have to sell, and they were told by the UFC. They told him at the beginning of the year when they did the fighter retreat, be like Sauron. And what people took that as talk trash, rather than build a following. You could easily build a following, right? Like, let's take Ngannou. Do you know how many fans that dude just got from knocking somebody into the next planet? And then you know how many more fans he added in by saying what he said about Libya? Right?
Okay.
That's a following. You don't have to talk trash. But in a way, he talked trash about the regime that is sponsoring slavery in Libya. And it got a bunch of people opening their eyes, right?
I will say I was very disappointed at the media's like response to his outfit.
Yeah.
In the
Of course.
like it was just so like stupid.
It's
like
but
what
why are you
happened? Because
wearing
I
that?
never.
Like, I don't
Well, they were
understand
making-
what you're wearing.
They're asking about his outfit.
Somebody asked.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they asked him, is that a traditional... usually wear a suit. Are you wearing some tradition? Is that some ritual?
Yeah,
He's
like,
no.
why are you wearing that?
He's like, no, I knew when I won this, I promised that I would start wearing traditional Cameroonian garb.
and I really liked it. I thought,
Of course there is.
You
But at
know.
the same time, they'd be asking Valentina about the little dresses she wears. You know what I mean? So that's the point of the media, because you're catering to
So-
idiots.
ignorance.
Dumb Stan.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
So they were asking questions
It was one
about
dude-
traditional.
It was one
It was
dude
just that one guy.
at the post-fight conference asked him because he wore a Cameroonian outfit. So
Do
that-
we know which reporter it was?
I don't get down like that. Like, you know their names. I need to get better about that.
You're like that guy.
But if I know their names, then it's more
I
likely
will
for me
say
to get
this.
mad.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. And there's this one
He had to look
chubby
at the camera.
dude.
Yeah.
There's this one chubby dude who is in the mixed martial arts media with us, who I confronted about some tumultuous statements. So if I can get that guy's name, yeah, you gonna see me too. And you already know.
I just thought it was like
So,
a little bit stupid.
You're chubby. Look at you trying to
don't
take
let
a
With
knife
a
out.
with a double chin and a dimple in it.
We'll let that go.
So do you agree after this knockout with Ngannou, do you agree he should be fast tracked towards the heavyweight title?
I mean,
do.
he's fighting Stipe, right?
I do.
He's the guy.
Okay, fair.
And let's be honest, right? He's really giving the title shot because the UFC sees superstar potential in it.
Absolutely.
Maybe the UFC
And how
wants
do
to go
you-
to Africa.
Of course. Who
They should have been did that, but
Who doesn't?
I'm gonna
who
let that
doesn't?
go.
Who doesn't? The place is 2,000 by 3,000 miles.
I think it would have been nice
How
to
would
see.
you not want to tap that market?
Right.
In the same
There,
way.
there should have been a mixed martial arts fight in South Africa already.
In the same way that, like, did you watch UFC Shanghai?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you probably didn't know this, but there was a fighter who unfortunately lost, who I'm a huge fan of.
That guy.
Muslim.
I know who you're talking about.
Sokolov.
Oh yeah.
Huge Sancho
And he
star.
got whooped so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he. I
He
think,
ain't know nothing about the ground. He was panicking. He almost just was like, "Oh, please get off."
Yeah, I don't think he trained with.
was
I think
bad.
I don't think he trained with the right people.
I was disappointed because you
I-
know
I was
people go
heartbroken.
in there with high hopes and you be thinking, "Oh, this guy," and then
Yeah, I think he trained. I think he let the juice get to him and spent too much time doing sambo and not enough time with American wrestlers.
But I mean, yeah, there should have been.
So you're clear? You know he's the same crew as Khabib.
Oh well, that was a
Yeah,
disappointing fight.
they're all Eagle MMA.
There should have been.
They're all the same tribe.
Yeah, that was
They're all
disappointing.
Dagestani.
And their striking art, they basically train a bunch of things, and Sancho is their striking art. The other one, but there was another guy who was on there later. I'm going to butcher his name because my Mandarin is not as good, but John Leong.
Yes,
Remember him and he got everybody chanting?
yes.
He's going to be the next star, right? Another Sancho guy, but he's a welterweight. He's got a steep division, but that opened the door to, like, who wouldn't want to be in a $3 billion person Chinese market, right? like in terms of selling pay-per-views over in China. So
I
it's
don't know
coming.
what's going on with the China market. Like they keep going over there and stuff, and they did well. I believe they sold out the arena, right, in Shanghai.
Yeah.
The reason
The
why
first time they
the
went
reason
over
why
there?
they the reason why they do it that way, as somebody who has actually lived in China, the
Well, yeah,
reason
they
why
keep trying to like.
the
create
reason why
the
that
star.
has happened, the reason why that has happened is because the Chinese market is closed off.
It's nationalistic.
So you can't nothing outside of the NBA can be seen on the internet. So you actually have to
So
go
it's blacked
to
out.
China. So you actually have to go to China in order for something to be shown on television in China.
And you have to
Right.
remember that being that it's a communist country,
But yeah.
they had to allow the Chinese government to buy a piece of the company.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to
Same
allow
thing when they
outsiders.
went over to Abu Dhabi. Like
Yeah.
they had to sell it to the sheiks and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to bring up that's interesting too is the development. George St. Pierre vacated the middleweight belt as we kind of predicted.
There was nowhere for George to go.
No.
I don't know why they let him come back.
Well,
Well,
For
Well,
the money?
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yes.
it was
For the
also
cash?
it was also an unforeseen circumstance that he ended up with colitis, which has no cure.
George had nowhere to go. And I thought colitis was a convenient opportunity to vacate.
I think it's both.
Yes.
There's nothing convenient
But I'm
about
just saying,
colitis.
there was no way that he was gonna. There's nowhere for George to go, and Dana White.
There's
knew
nowhere
it.
for George to
I
go.
think we knew it.
Defend the title.
He was never gonna do that.
There's nothing about colitis that's convenient.
No, but I'm saying
Was he going to?
you don't technically even know that. None of us have seen George's medical records. That's just what he's saying that he has. Honestly,
You
no
think
one
you
knows.
you literally think somebody would lie about having colitis?
I
I
think
think you
that'd
guys
be
are
his
missing
way
the
to bow out.
important factor here is that
Wow.
George St. Pierre, aside from being in Canada, which has socialized healthcare, and he has the best medicine that waiting lists can provide, he has also been abducted by aliens, and you have no idea what
There's
they
lots
did to.
of options.
You have no idea what they did to his colon while he was in this
That's
shit.
right, because there's lots of probing.
And you don't know what it feels like to be punched by Captain America either. So let's just take it there. But the issue is he was not going to survive at middleweight.
No, it did. That's why I said he had
He was
nowhere
going
to
to
go.
get destroyed. Everybody who was a hungry wolf was going to
Yeah.
destroy him.
I knew that George would, he beat Bisping, and I knew that he was going to leave. Like, how did you not know that? It was a foregone conclusion.
But he
Nobody thought George was going to fight anybody. I knew he was never going to fight anybody, and I was waiting for the excuse that he was going to have to where he could never fight again. And boom, boom.
And with the exception of T. Wood, there's nobody in welterweight who can see him.
Yeah, so there was no shock to this.
Yeah, there wasn't. So that's a very interesting. So that's February, which gets me very excited. And then we haven't had any more developments right now, but that's a really good. I feel like I don't want to jinx it. Knock on wood. I feel like the craziness is filtering out of the sport that we love, and we're starting to get back to fights that make sense again.
Well, I mean, plus that guy calling them out when they went to, was it Congress or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that helped.
That helped.
Slap the reality back into their
that
mouth.
did more than help.
Yes.
I think it forced
Yes.
the UFC
That's
into
right.
coming back into some sense. Because, I mean, how long have I been calling them out?
Well,
for longer than we can
we've
remember.
been
Yeah.
calling them out. Yeah.
But that doesn't
It's-
mean
it's obvious.
But that doesn't mean we don't love the UFC, and if Dana and Ari wanted to slide us some tickets, I mean, we're not going to say no.
Bro,
know?
you got to
But
give
I
me
mean,
one of the tickets. Come on.
Look, I mean, if it works for Jesse Jackson, it might work for us. We just stop talking about it if you give us money.
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
I want to holler at the UFC store because, we do this podcast and look, we not dressed appropriately. But if you bring us some clothes, we can put on some jerseys and make it look all sexy, And be like 10% off to the UFC store right here.
You could take the clothes. I just want the tickets.
You want the clothes, trust me.
I want the tickets.
I already got the clothes.
I want the tickets.
Do you want the tickets to UFC? This card right here.
Do you understand the words that I'm saying?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I think
You
it's
can
a
give
good,
us the tickets. It's all good.
I think it's a good time to wrap it up. This is our last podcast of the 2017 year. Hopefully, we'll be with you next year.
What do you
Indeed.
say, hopefully? Of course.
Unfortunately, there's a lot happening next year. Thanos is coming and things like that. You never know what's going to happen. Keep your eyes open. Protect each other. Once again, shout out to Combat Jack, Bombat Banter. Who else can we shout out? Thank you to the Sly Show for giving us the opportunity. I am SweetMBA. I am joined by,
The Infamous Boogie.
as well as
J.K. Akins.
the sounds that you hear, the music, the energy, the recording, the visuals, all brought to you by Dream Ear, Dream Eye, Dream, so many dreams, dream them dreams. Mr. DeShawn Davis.
You stay woke.
I was woke. Go to sleep so you can stay woke. We are Cage Against the Machine. We've had a wonderful time. We hope you join us again. Feel free to comment on our social media, on our blog. Let us know since you're listening and we see you enjoy. We want to hear from you. Have a good UFC 219, and we will see you in the 2018.
Chill!